This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the Patriot Brief.
Alrighty, guys, welcome to today's show. Welcome to the Patriot Brief. It is May 14th, 2022. Guys, I want to announce here on the show, for those who are not aware of our relationship with YouTube, it's been slim to none. Earlier today, very early in the morning, I was sleeping, but the timestamp came in from the company of YouTube around 1:46 in the morning. And I'll read you the email first. But before I read you the email, I want to say that this came to none of surprising remarks. I've seen this coming from weeks now. YouTube, guys, has been attacking and monitoring my content, both video and audio, simulated audio episodes that are launched on our YouTube channel, the Patriot Angle Podcast. They have been questioning my content as COVID misinformation. And this should not come to a shock to any of you that listens to my show or any other conservative podcast show or host out there. Now, we received the normal email from YouTube, the normal email when they send to people relating either a shadow ban or a permanent ban. And this was the email, folks, from the company of YouTube. Hi, the Patriot Angle Podcast. We have reviewed your content and found severe or repeated violations of our community guidelines. Because of this, we have removed your channel from YouTube. Completely removed my channel. Didn't even give me a strike, didn't even give me a warning, just removed the entire channel. I go into quoting from this email that they say in the next paragraph. We know this is probably very upsetting news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. If we think a channel severely violates our policies, we take it down to protect other users on the platform. But if you believe we've made the wrong call, you can appeal this decision. You'll find more information about the policy in question and how to submit an appeal below. And then it goes into the next set of paragraphs saying, how does this affect your channel? We permanently removed your channel from YouTube. Going forward, you won't be able to access, possess, or create any other YouTube channels. Now they actually go into another email. Okay? And I'm not the only person that they're doing this to. They're doing this to a lot of conservative hosts and talk show hosts all over the country. Another email comes up. Hi, the Patriot Angle podcast. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think, now they think, right? They're not really sure if it violates it. You know, they use the word think. We think it violates our medical misinformation policy. First and foremost, folks, before I get into the rest of this freaking article, this email that YouTube sent me, how the hell does it violate a medical? How can you say medical information is misinformation? Apparently, we live amongst geniuses and perfect people. Well, the last person I thought was only perfect is the God Almighty, right? Upstairs. So apparently, these idiots out of San Francisco say that COVID, the medical information on COVID is correct. You notice how I'm laughing about that, right? I'm laughing about it because it's not correct. You still have political doctors such as Anthony Fauci that's clearly saying that they may have misinformed the general public back in 2020. Go back and look the last week or two where Anthony Fauci actually says to the American people that we may be wrong, that America is no longer in a pandemic phase. It was never in a pandemic phase. Now, YouTube violated my latest episode I had just the other day on episode 258, where I had a songwriter and a conservative advocate, um, Vanessa, on the show. And they're saying that how my content that I expressed on a live podcast show violated their policy. YouTube doesn't allow claims about COVID-19 vaccinations that contradict expert consensus from local health authorities or the World Health Organization. Do you notice what that means, folks? Let me narrate that down. YouTube and other companies such as Facebook and Instagram share the same basic principles of policy, that they do not allow claims about COVID-19 vaccinations. So you're not allowed to say anything about COVID vaccinations. You're not allowed to say anything about masks. You're not allowed to say anything. If you speak up, they shadow ban. If you question, they shadow ban. If you even try to go further and give that what if scenario, they shadow ban or they permanently ban you or remove you from their platform. That's what's going on, folks. That's what's going on. Now, here's one thing I'm going to ask, okay? And bear with me, folks. I just got out of a public meeting with really good friends of the show here, U.S. Freedom Fighters. Just literally got out of the meeting uh, within the last 20 minutes or so. So hopefully, when they get the podcast recording all done, you can check that out on their podcast, U.S. Freedom Fighters podcast. You'll see an American flag with the names U.S. Freedom Fighters podcast. Check it out. A really, really good public meeting. I'm told that President Brad and Jerry of U.S. Freedom Fighters will be making that public meeting an actual episodic episode. So check it out, guys. Really, really good episode. Just got out of the meeting. So just bear with me because I'm heated up with this whole crap. And you know what? This is what I say. They want to ban me. They want to permanently ban me. They want to do all that stuff to make them feel good. Good. You want to ban me? Go ahead. If it makes you feel good, go ahead. But guess what? What's going to happen is when you have people that voice up, they're going to lose users and they're going to lose subscribers to YouTube. And guess what, folks? Every social media conglomerate out there, they don't like that. And when you have a lot of people leaving an app or a platform, you'll see a lot more changes, guys. We're going to be right back after these words. Don't go anywhere. I got more on this here in a brief moment, guys. Be right back on the Patriot Brief, Patriot Angle podcast. Alrighty, guys, back to the show. Guys, this shadow banning crap is getting to be a little too much. Here at the Patriot Angle podcast, we're starting to feel it in full effect with, shadow banning coming into play, not only on this show, but other shows are starting to feel the same effect. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop because, what's going to happen is, you know, let me say one thing, all right, before I go into something here, all right, and I lose my train of thought here. When you shadow ban about something, I get it, right? You're trying to protect other people and this and that. But, talking about something about medical and everything else, I mean, I really don't see that in a very, very high threat. I mean, it's opinion. Have we become a society where we're going to judge somebody to an extent to where we get mad at somebody and just say, I'm going to ban you from our social media platform because you're saying something that we don't agree with? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard of in my entire life. Literally, the stupidest crap. Now, you know, a lot of people are saying, YouTube comments have a big scam or spam problem, right? Right? I mean, this was just coming out a couple weeks ago from guestmarena.com. Right? Is that how you say it, Eric? Guest Morena? Right. Eric's shaking his head. Yeah. Um, the article, coming out where YouTube comments have a big spam problem. That people will just say anything just to say it. But, the truth about shadow banning, folks, is more complicated than it actually seems. So, what does shadow ban actually mean? A lot of people are questioning it. What does shadow ban actually mean? Because that's the scenario, folks, that they're going to throw at you before they actually, pull the plug on your content, your channel, your material, everything, right? That's the first phase. And they've been doing that to my show for months. Why am I talking about it on today's show, the Patriot Brief? Because it needs to be explained. YouTube, and this is what shadow ban actually means, right? YouTube, and they'll even deny, right? They'll deny that they actually block people from expressing their views, but they do it, folks, in high numbers. Oh, do they? Now, there's a a Swedish creator, YouTube creator, that put this out. Um, I'm not going to give her name out on the show for privacy issues, but I mean, she has well over 107 million subscribers, right? And is the most followed person on YouTube. This woman, Alicia, you can look her up for yourself, right? I know if you look her up, you'll get the first and last name, but I don't just want to put her out there. She's been put out there because of social media, but I just want to say this as an example, right? She is the most followed person on YouTube, and she does have a very big and loyal fan base, without a doubt. But when some of her fans tried to watch her videos, right, they became hugely concerned when her profile and many of her videos failed to appear via a YouTube search. Now, that could be very disturbing. It could be very frustrating, not only for the content creator, but the YouTube uh, uh, person itself, right? Her as a content creator, a host, a talk show host, a this or that, right? Now, fans of hers instantly assumed that her account been shadow banned. However, YouTube responded and denied these allegations. They said, "Oh, it's nah, no." But folks, let me say this again. What does being shadow banned actually mean? What does it mean? Here's what shadow ban actually means, folks. Okay? When you get shadow banned, they're usually strikes against your content or material because they find them not deemed to be uploaded on their platform, right? I could understand if it shows obscene gestures, nudity, uh, acts of violence, acts of terrorism. I understand that. By all means, block it because no one wants to see that garbage. But if it relates to national security and it's going to protect our country from domestic or foreign threat, by all means, it has to be shared. But when you're sharing information about a medical disease, that is your personal belief. That is your personal opinion. No person, man or woman, on the face of this earth has a right to say you are wrong or correct. It's opinion. They could say you're wrong, they could say you're correct. That's one person's opinion over the next. You're allowed to have that. But they do not have a right to cancel you out because you're hurting their feelings. Not only is it evasion of privacy, but they are violating your First Amendment right. You want to fact check something? Fact check it. It's in the damn Constitution. I got a couple more words here to add into today's show. We got a little bit more left on the show. So, another thing coming out, right? This whole shadow banning people off of social media comes from the TikTok star, right? I said this the other day. Jimmy the Rant was on my show. We're talking about the TikTok star, right? This Nina Javakovits. I can't pronounce her name, but you've probably seen her on TikTok, social media, all over the place, where she basically became Joe Biden's fact checker queen, so to speak, right? She's in charge of the fact checking, the shadow banning, the disinformation network department of the White House, right? Yeah, they actually have a person that's in charge of this, right? It's called the Ministry of Truth. You probably heard me say this a few times here on the show, but they actually named it the Ministry of Truth. This woman, this Nina Javakovits, right, which happens to be a woman of great interest, uh, The reason why I say that is because she happens to be formerly from the country of Russia, and that's very interesting, very very interesting. And she speaks fluent English too, and fluent Russian. Um, why is that interesting? It's interesting because we have a conflict going with the Ukrainian government and the Russian government right now. That's interesting. That's something we have to look at a little bit more. But when you have nut jobs, liberal nut jobs, such as this Ministry of Truth that's out there right now, attacking every conservative out there, whether they're a podcast host, a talk show host, anything for that matter. Hell, they could be a conservative advocate, like I just had on my show just the other day, Vanessa, right? They could be a conservative advocate. Who the hell do you think you are going to remove me because apparently it hurts your feelings? This is the country we live in, folks. This is the sick, deranged crap that we live in. This is what we have to put up with. It's terrible. I just, you know. Well, folks, as you can hear, I'm yawning. I'm tired. I do want to close it out here. I wanted to bring this quick little Patriot Brief in here to basically brainstorm of what's just been going on with us with YouTube. We have been kicked out of YouTube, sadly. I don't know how much longer we have left on Facebook. That's why we're reaching out to other platforms such as Rumble. Eventually going to be on Truth Social when it becomes available on my carrier, because I don't do iPhone. I do Android. So when it becomes available on Google Play, we will be downloading Truth Social as a backup platform, so we can continue to share our content and our patriotic views to you, the audience, to you, the unfiltered, patriots of the United States. Because you folks, the unfiltered patriots of the United States, need to learn the truth out of all this. There's truth behind every message that we express here on the show. There's truth behind what they are doing. Mark my words, folks, that these sickos, these nut job liberals, will pay the price one day for what they're doing to us, Americans. Not only are they violating our free speech, they're violating our liberties, and they're violating our sovereignty as a country. I said it once, and I'll say it again. The enemy is the enemy within. We have a domestic enemy, the enemy within. The enemy within this country that is placing attacks on every American citizen right now through forced vaccinations, forced masking, and forced viewpoints. You're seeing it outplay itself every single day. Our country is literally transforming itself into a communist utopia. You don't see it, give it about a year, 2 years. You'll see it then. With all that being said, guys, thank you for tuning into the Patriot Brief, and we will see you next week. Next Wednesday, we will be inviting Joseph M. Leonard back to the show for the final installment, part 4, with the author of Terror Strikes, Joseph M. Leonard, returning back to the show, as well as our co-host, Jimmy the Rant, will be on that, as we will have a very unique episode. Social Media American Jeopardy. You're not going to want to miss that. It should be a really, really good episode. Tune in. Also, next Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, guys, we will be featuring an episode entirely on professional wrestling with our co-host, Jimmy the Rant, joining us once again. You're not going to want to miss that, guys. With that being said, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
You You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle podcast. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon Music, and Audible. Also streaming live on Twitch. Remember to follow and like us, guys, for unfiltered, uncensored, raw content. Also, please head over to www.patriotanglepodcast.com for all your exclusive Patriot Angle podcast content and material, as well as the merchandise website, www.patriotunfiltered.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.